This is the professor. I'm in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, deep in the bowels of the Showcase Pro Wrestling Training Center and Arena, and I mean the bowels.
The bowels.
And I am going to talk a little bit tonight with the soldier of God, Ronnie Ribbs. This is a shoot interview, so we're going to hear from the man himself. I've got some questions for you, sir.
Oh, you mean I can relax a little? What the hell? We are in the bowels.
Okay. And the lights go on and off.
What the hell? I'll tell you what.
Stand in here.
Let's do it right here.
Yeah.
There we go. Maybe that'll keep it on.
I did this with Cargill Vinton one day, and the lights.
This brother.
This is Woonsocket. That could be to the toilet, man. You don't know.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so this is a shoot interview with Ronnie Ribbs, Soldier of God, currently Showcase Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion.
Indeed.
New champion.
Indeed. Do not forget, though, also the Avalanche Wrestling Entertainment Top of the Mountain Champion.
And tell us about Avalanche Wrestling Entertainment. Where is that out of?
That's out of Presque Isle, Maine. And it's a good up-and-coming company right now. They've got a lot of great talent coming up there. Guys like Wesley Pike, Franco Varga, the Heyman, Eric Johnson, just to name a few guys that are up there. Myself, Dante, both hold titles up there, and it's been a great experience going up there, man.
So
Long drive, though.
But you actually, from what I understand, and I only see you sporadically, you've been traveling around the country.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Last weekend I was with Big Time Wrestling up in New York, in Watertown and Elmira. We've been down to Alabama with Southern Pro and Southern Legacy Wrestlings. Out to Indiana with Smash Mouth Wrestling, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, everywhere.
Haven't you been down south as well, I think, haven't you?
Yeah, down to Alabama and Indiana so far. Looking to get in down in Georgia, hopefully Louisiana, Tennessee, those types of areas. Hopefully Florida someday, but you know what? Hunter, give me a call.
So what's it like being an established but still up-and-coming wrestler in the independent circuit? What's your lifestyle like? Because everybody's curious. We know most wrestlers on the indie circuit, you know, have families, hold full-time jobs, do all that kind of stuff. Like, what's your week like?
Well, I do have a family. I have a beautiful wife and 3 small children, 3 little boys, and my week consists of taking care of them, training, and wrestling. And that's it. This is how I make my money, man. This is my business. So anybody who's half-assing it, I feel the need to tell them they're half-assing it. Maybe they should just be a weekend warrior. I mean, a lot of people say there's a spot for everybody in this business. I just think for some of the guys that are in it right now, there's a spot on the other side of the rail buying a ticket.
So there's a kind of a gap between guys like you that have your level of commitment and, you know, the guys that are really kind of part-time.
Of course there is. There's a lot of guys who hold full-time jobs and do this consistently as well, but they do a great job with it, and there are some guys who just can't handle that, and they can't handle the drives and being away from their family. I'm very blessed in the fact that I've got a couple of really good riding partners in Dante and Osiris, but if I couldn't do the drives, I just wouldn't. And now, right now, doing these drives has been, it's really kind of crazy, because that's one of the biggest parts of this, is you have to get out there, you have to get your name out there, and that's what I'm trying to do. All up and down New England, and in the South, hopefully very soon, a lot more southern states, from Jersey South, been to Delaware, all that good stuff. So it's, you know, it's a very big commitment. A lot of times I'm on the road Thursday through Sunday, and you know, I'm training Tuesday and Thursday nights when I am in town. So
you live in upstate New York, you come here, so what's the ride from your house to Woonsocket, Rhode Island, where you're here at least once a month?
Right, from Woonsocket or to Woonsocket, it's 4.5 hours.
Wow.
So that's one way, and tonight I made the trip in this morning, and then I'll make the trip back tonight. This will be my only show this weekend. After this, a lot of times I'll end up with shows in Maine, and then Rhode Island, and then Connecticut, then head back home. So I try and make a nice big loop out of it.
And most guys do it that way?
I think a lot of guys do that. A lot of the guys that are really committed to it are out there making drives all over the country, and you know, it's a lot of time in the car, and a lot of times, you know, these guys that I travel with, they become family because you're on the road with them. You learn their habits, you learn their sleep patterns, you learn their training patterns, you learn what music they like, what foods they like, and it's just something that comes with the territory. It's part of the camaraderie.
So how do you balance the intense fitness requirement to live through what you guys do with being in the car and losing sleep and eating shitty food on the road? And how do you keep it up?
Honestly, Professor, like I have a home gym, so when I'm at home, I'm usually down in the basement grinding down there 2-3 hours a day. When I'm on the road, I have to prep, I have to cook. I spend a good portion of the day before I leave cooking meals, buying fresh produce, taking care of my body the best way that I know how to, so I don't eat that trash that's on the highways. And as far as when we're on the road, I have a Planet Fitness Black card. That's highly unpopular these days for guys that actually train, but you know what? It's a good place to work out when you just need to get a quick workout in. It's free tanning, and it's a great place to take a shower sometimes when you're on the road 3-4 days.
Yeah, that makes sense. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
So you obviously resent it when I chant join a gym.
If you chant join the gym at me, man, I might throw you over my head a few times.
I tried it. You never responded, so I haven't done it since.
No, I don't. I hit the gym quite consistently. And
it's obvious that you do.
It's something you have to do. So I know a lot of guys who get by without doing it, and to me, that's insane. Like I couldn't not hit the gym. I would never be ready to fight.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the people that we associate you with, at least in New England: Osiris, Dante, Dr. Ozone. What's your relationship with those guys? Because I know these things change all the time, and people come and go, and you go in different directions. What's that like?
Well, Professor, I first met you a little over 3 years ago right here in this very building, and you interviewed us after our match. It was a great time. Osiris and myself and Dante were 3 of the best riding partners, if I can Barry Horowitz myself for a second, that anybody could ask for. We have a blast on the road together, and we all come from the same lineage. We were all trained by guys that were trained by Killer Kowalski. So the lineage speaks for itself. We have very similar patterns of wrestling. We have very similar respect and business ethics. So when it comes time to do business, we do the business.
And you guys have kind of a freebird thing going, because it's pretty clear that no matter which two of you are wrestling, the product's the same. It's consistent. Absolutely. It's I don't want to use the word hardcore, that'll be misunderstood, but right. it's intense. There's an intensity, right, and an excellence and a consistency that you guys bring.
Well, thank you.
How do you do that though with 3 guys? Like the Freebirds pioneered that.
Yeah, it's continuity. That's all it is we sit there and we establish a game plan for each and every fight. We kick ideas off each other during the week. We come to the venues and we lay those ideas out and we make the ideas happen. So if we need to beat somebody who's bigger than us, we have a plan. If we need to beat somebody who's faster than us, we have a plan. We are the perfect unit. And as far as Doc Ozone goes, Doc Ozone, he's got his own method to the madness. Anybody who loves to know Dr. Ozone is to love Dr. Ozone. Have we been cross? Of course. But every family has their issues. Just so happens we may have buried our issues. So Dr. Ozone, he's our man.
Yeah, and that's smart business. My observation of the wrestling business is you've got to roll with the changes and the ups and downs. You guys did that beautifully.
Thank you.
If I do say so. I don't want to come off as being impartial, but I'm not just the professor, I'm also a fan.
Right on, right on. And we all are. We all are. We're all fans of the business, and this business has taken me to places I never expected to go. Hence, I'm a dual champion right now. I never ever thought that was going to happen when I was growing up watching Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair and rooting for the bad guys more often than not. But I never imagined that. This business has blessed me with that. So, and hopefully it continues to bless me and the whole fellowship.
Well, let me ask you this, because, I get around not as much as you guys, because you're actually the workers, and I'm just an amateur analyst. But I would consider, for me, Showcase is my home promotion. This is where I spend most of my time. You guys have made a heck of a commitment to working in this company. And if people watching this don't know Showcase Pro Wrestling out of Woonsocket, Rhode Island, a lot of amazing guys over the course of a year will work at Showcase.
Oh, absolutely.
And they'll come through. But you guys have made like a huge commitment. You had that tag team title longer than anybody ever. Perhaps, maybe even in the history of wrestling. We might have to look in some books to verify that. But it was
have to be fact checked.
It was a while.
Absolutely, almost 600 days.
And then after that ended, and that was disappointing, I'm sure. You hung in there. Why did you decide to go for the singles title as opposed to trying to get the tag team title? Because it looked to everybody that you guys, your big thing was to get that tag team title back. How did that come about?
Well, I think that was mostly opportunity. You see, for 2 straight years, I had finished in the top 4 in the Gauntlet for the Gold, which is held at the annual Marchiversary event. In Marchiversary 10, I entered number 2, and I was in the final 4, as was Osiris. In 2011, Marchiversary 11, I'm sorry, not 2011, 2017, Marchiversary 11, I was again in the final 4, and that was coming off of a shoulder surgery that had me sidelined for a while.
Yeah, I remember that. That surprised everybody.
Right, and I was blown away by the response I got.
You were obviously hurt.
I had to protect it a little bit, but I was ready and willing and able, like you said, the commitment to this company. This is the fellowship's home. Now, there's been a whole lot of companies we worked for and worked for very consistently, but we always end up back here. There's a reason for that. We love it here.
It's because I'm here, right?
Sure. Whatever you got to tell yourself to get to sleep at night.
Okay. Well, that does put me to sleep.
But we have a great rapport here. The fans here seem to really dig us, and like you said, we've been here for over 3.5 years now, where it's just consistently we are the model of excellence. So why wouldn't we continue that trend? Now, when I won the Gauntlet for Gold this year, you were there. You saw. The response was unbelievable and was undeniable. I had to challenge as soon as possible for that title. And, kicking those guys to the back was something I had to do for myself. And it's not so much coming to, how did you come to that part of it? It was something I had to do to prove to myself that I was good enough to stand tall on my own and reach that pinnacle.
And the doctor and Osiris were there, and they brought you to ringside.
Correct.
Which made a huge statement, I think, about where you guys are as a team.
Right on.
And your commitment, because we hadn't seen the 3 of you here at Showcase for a while. I know you've worked in other places.
Right.
Together.
Well, with Dante, it was for a while it was me and Dante, or it was Osiris and Dante. But to see the actual core unit come back together for that night was amazing. The fans, they absolutely loved it. I couldn't believe the chance that we were getting, and it was really it was a surreal moment for me. And that was made on the spot. That decision was I can't rely on you two to be here for me through everything. So you two need to go to the back. They went to the back, and I took care of business.
And you did. So how does it feel to beat such a qualified champion as Chris Matrix? I wasn't surprised that you became a champion.
Right.
But that night I didn't expect it. How did it feel to actually beat him? Because he's a bedrock of this company.
He's been here since day one.
An amazing athlete.
He's been here since day one. He is an amazing athlete, a heck of a competitor. I am 100% convinced, and the videotape shows it, he let his jealousy overcome him. I couldn't believe the low road that he took. He threw a punch, which is illegal. He raked my eyes, he raked my back, he tried to pull my tights. Like, literally everything that a villain would possibly do, he tried to do. So, to beat him, I can give him credit as a champion. He beat everyone who stepped up to him until me. And that's where my credit for him ends.
Are you giving him a rematch in the near future? Have you talked to the office about that?
I haven't talked to the office about it, but anybody who deserves a shot can certainly have one. They just have to remember that they have to go through me to get that gold. That's what means something to me right now. Being here, holding that gold.
So what's it like to be a heavyweight champion for what I consider pretty dynamic and healthy promotion. It's a big responsibility. How has it changed since you won that title?
To be honest, it hasn't changed at all. It hasn't. My workout regimen stays the same. My commitment to the company stays the same. My ability to step up and challenge and receive all challenges now is about the only thing that's changed. I don't challenge people anymore. They need to challenge me. So for me, it hasn't changed. I am me. I'm going to continue to be me. And whenever the fellowship needs me, I'm there with the fellowship.
So, well said, and that's kind of what I would have expected from somebody like you. We've gotten to know each other a bit over the last couple of years,
yeah,
so
for sure.
I would expect that, and we're all familiar with your work ethic.
Thank you.
So, here's your issue. It's easier to get that title than to keep that title.
Correct.
Because you've gone from one of a group of guys going for it to everybody's now after you. And the people that have held this championship, historically, a lot of them, but they're the guys that are still around, Sean Candido, sensational Scott Levesque, obviously Matrix. Scott Ledoux is always a danger in this company, particularly.
He's psychotic. That's the only reason he represents any kind of danger. You have seen me beat that man from pillar to post.
But in any given, they say any given Sunday, any given Friday night.
Is this football? Is this football?
No.
No. Do we wear pads? Do I got a helmet on?
Knee pads at best.
See, that question kind of frustrates me a little bit, Professor, because the simple fact is this. Any one of those guys can come out through that curtain. They're going to walk right back through the curtain the same way they entered. Hands empty. It's my title. It'll be mine until somebody can take it from me. It's that simple. You can bring Levesque out. I've already beat him. You can bring Candido out. I've already beat him. You can bring Matrix out. I've already beaten him. Cargill Vinton, we've only had one match together, and I should have beat him. Bring out anybody. Bring Benny Blanco out of retirement.
Don Vega. What do you think of Don Vega?
I'll go toe-to-toe with Vega any day of the week. Now, he happens to be a friend of the fellowship. But, if Vega is deserving of a title shot and the office says he is, any day of the week. He's had tryouts with WWE, he's had tryouts with Impact, with Ring of Honor. Any day of the week, I'd love to test my mettle.
That would be beautiful. And I'll be right there to watch.
I'm sure you will.
I don't know who I'll root for.
Probably not me, but that's okay. You got a little melon head, that's why.
All right, let's get into something else.
Sure.
So, you know, the people watching this generally, obviously workers are going to watch this, especially the people that are coming after you.
Sure.
Because this is a game of psychology for those of us who understand how this works. This is a mental game.
Absolutely.
Maybe more so than a physical game. So let's get into your head a little bit. What does wrestling mean to you? Like your life in wrestling? What's the meaning of this in your life? It's a hard question to ask. It's hard to articulate. What is this to you as a human being, this journey that you're on?
For those of you who don't know, I am a multi-tour combat veteran. I have been tested under fire of the enemy. I'm an infantryman to my core. When I left the Army, I never found camaraderie like that again until I entered this world. And professional wrestling has the closest camaraderie I've ever found to that. I gave that camaraderie up once. I'm not willing to do it again. And for me to be on the top is the only way that I can ensure that I don't leave that behind again. So whoever comes out has to deal with the fact that I have the fighting spirit of a true tested warrior, not just somebody who got in a couple fist fights in high school or somebody who's never been in an actual fight before.
Now, do you feel that's an intimidation factor for the people who face you in the ring?
It damn well better be.
It has to be.
Otherwise, they're underestimating me.
Well, I think we all think about that whenever you come out.
They better. I've got that CIB inked on my chest for a reason. When they look across that ring, they see that and they say flat out, whether or not they'll admit it out loud, I know what goes through their head. This guy's taken people out. He's been under fire of the enemy. He's returned fire. He's done things that I'll never do. So yeah, it damn well better be an intimidation factor. And if you don't like that, go to where I grew up. Ask around. Everybody knows my name.
All right, let me ask you a few more things, because this is pre-show in Woonsocket.
Yeah, you've got to get ready eventually.
You are a defending champion, and
Indeed.
You've got to get your head and your body ready. So we'll wrap this up with a few more questions.
Sure.
And again, we all appreciate you doing this, because obviously you're holding up this company.
I will tell you this, you probably could have picked a better venue.
Hey, we are in the bowels.
The bowels.
The bowels of Woonsocket, Rhode Island. You don't know.
I feel like mankind's about to come out and hit me with a mandible claw.
You got to be careful where you put your hands. It could be creepy, crawly things down there. Or rats, or God knows what. No, we love Woonsocket, but it's an interesting place.
Right on.
So who do you think is who do you feel is going to be coming for you in the next couple of months? Name some names and tell me what you think of them.
Here in Showcase Wrestling, I'll tell you what, if we're going to play the name game, why don't we do it this way? Why don't you throw the name out and I'll give you the first thing that pops into my head. Because that's a little more fun and a little more entertaining.
All right, fair enough. So let's start at the top. The premier wrestler of New England, Scott LeBeck. He's always sniffing around this place.
Prima donna.
Sean Candido.
Overrated.
Cargill Vinton.
Should have retired a year ago.
Chris Matrix.
Piece of garbage.
Chris Cruz.
Tough.
Jack Kruger.
Double tough.
Wow,
You don't like that? Spit out some
I
more
didn't
names.
expect you to say that. No, I'm
You
going to
can
edit
spit out
this.
some more names from around England.
I'm just thinking about people that could get you. Well, let's talk about your friends. Osiris.
Osiris. That's my brother. We don't fight. Much.
Vega.
True champion. He's a professional in every aspect of the word. I look forward to the day we actually meet in physical combat.
Which I think will be coming.
Maybe.
It's inevitable.
Maybe.
He's not done. He's gonna take a run at you.
We'll see.
No doubt in my mind.
We'll see. Who else you got?
Well, how about some of these younger guys? It's starting with a friend, Dante.
He's as fast as grease lightning, but he ain't ready.
Now let's take a little side tour about him. Now,
Sure.
Are you kind of mentoring Dante? I noticed they're not really calling him the apprentice anymore.
He's no longer the apprentice and hasn't been for some time. He joined onto the fellowship as the apprentice and did a heck of a job helping us out when we needed him. And he's graduated to a full-fledged member of the fellowship many moons ago now. He's doing a great job on his own, hand and tag wrestling. He was just tagging and victorious down at the Monster Factory a couple weeks ago with the new apprentice, actually, Crispin Coles, who should be introduced shortly. But he actually is holding his first singles title. I cannot say enough good things about how far Dante's come in the last few years.
Yeah, and I'll back you up on that because the improvements
Absolutely.
showing and every month.
But as far as a mentor, you'd have to ask him. I never take credit for anything like that. That's not in my nature. So if he wants to say, yeah, he's been mentoring me, fine. Have I given him some pointers? Sure. Have we made a lot of car trips talking about wrestling? Absolutely, every weekend. So.
Yeah, and he's an up-and-comer, and he's a young guy, so he should be around a while.
Oh, absolutely. He's got a phenomenal future ahead of him.
All right, I'm going to keep shooting things at you as we wrap up. Not necessarily names. What are your thoughts on women's independent wrestling?
Ooh. Wrestling women is terrific. I think it's come a long way. The athleticism's greatly increased. The big company in New York, WWE, has done a tremendous job Connecticut, New York, same difference. But they've done a tremendous job elevating that game leaps and bounds. And on the independent scene, I think there's a tremendous gap still, but I think it's closing.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is the numbers, which they're growing.
Absolutely, and
it takes
as they
time.
continue to grow, they're going to continue to get better. I know Amanda Fox is a great talent. Alicia is a great talent. Alicia Muldoon, and there's so many great talents out there right now that are just they're knocking it dead with the women's wrestling tour.
Excellent. So, have you guys gone up to Canada at all?
Yeah, actually, we were just up there a couple months ago, Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. We did a great charity event up there. Man, you ain't kidding about battles. Holy bejesus, what the heck was that? But we did a great charity event up there, and hopefully we'll be back up there very soon.
Excellent. And so, what about the West Coast? Is that in your sights?
The West Coast is definitely in sights. As some viewers may or may not have heard, I was accepted to the New Japan camps. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make that particular one, but sometime in the very near future, I will be heading out to Los Angeles for one of those camps, and I will keep you posted on social media.
Excellent. So what are your thoughts on Mexican wrestling?
Oh, man, I love that stuff.
As do I. So I wanted to get your view on that because we've never talked
Their
about
style and technique is so on point. It's absurd the way that they actually make these movements. And you know, everyone says, "Oh, the flippity-doos," but it's so much more than that because the psychology that goes into it all still makes sense. And I know here in the States, you know, we tend to work a specific side of the body and they work a different side. So a lot of people, you know, they get a little confused when they go down there. I cannot personally wait for Mexico. I've been trying to get in Mexico for the last year, and eventually it's going to happen. We'll find the right time for myself and my family and the right time for a promoter down there to have us down, and it's going to be great.
That's good because I'm going with you if you go down there.
Please,
I love
absolutely.
Mexican
I
wrestling.
need you down there to videotape the entire thing, man, from start to finish.
That's one night in Mexico City brought me back into wrestling.
Right on, I believe it.
After 15 years of boycotting things I didn't care for,
Right.
that got me back in, and that's why I'm here right now.
I believe it.
I see you guys doing that. I would love to see you down in Mexico City.
I would love it.
You may never come back if you go down there. That would be okay. The food's good. You'd love it.
You know, hopefully we can get down there and, you know, have a few good times down there and some great training and some great matches.
So what's the next year looking like for you in the fellowship? What are your
You mean
plans?
for the rest of 2018?
Yeah, let's say 12 months from now. This is May 2018.
I'll still be the Showcase Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, and I'll still be the Avalanche Wrestling Entertainment Top of the Mountain Champion, and I'll probably add 3 or 4 more in the meantime.
Excellent. All right,
I
listen.
think Austin Aries is the only guy who can collect belts, baby.
No, we know you can. All right, so champ, you got to get it. You got to get in that locker room.
Oh yeah, it's about time to get ready.
And that's another mystery subterranean chamber here in the ancient city of Woonsocket, which I've never been in and probably never will be.
Now you gotta get invited in there.
Yeah.
You gotta get invited in there.
I've made some enemies. I'd be afraid to be down there. I may never be found again.
It's quite possible in this building. Lots of places to hide bodies.
So give me some final words, because people want to, this is a really good opportunity to see you in a shoot situation.
Yeah.
We're all familiar with you when you're on stage.
That's a lot of in character too, but yeah. As far as, you know, everybody can follow me on social media. It's under my government name on Facebook, Ronald Ribera. On Instagram, S.O.G Ribs. Twitter is the Rib35. You can follow me all over there. I post all kinds of wrestling stuff all the time, and you know, basically training stuff and wrestling stuff is what my whole week is. So that's what I post, because what else am I going to do?
And all of your matches in Showcase have been taped by the master film maker, me. And they're also
Put yourself
available.
over so hard, man. You just keep putting yourself over. No, you do a great job. You do.
If I'm not for me, who will be?
Right on, right on.
Not you. You threatened to beat me up on a few occasions.
Well, you asked the wrong questions on a few occasions. And if God be for me, who dare be against me?
Exactly. All right, listen, we're going to wrap this up. I hope we can do this again, because I could talk to you all night.
Absolutely, man. Anytime, Professor. Well, we can sit down and, you know, maybe with a couple of cervezas and have you on camera next time, and we'll really get down to the meat and potatoes of what's going on.
We'll show everybody where we are. We're in a kind of a dungeon, but
Careful for the
you know,
cobwebs, right?
yeah, that's where the bodies are. If you're the police. Anyway, champ, thank you and congratulations again on your double titles,
Hey,
especially the one here in Southern New England. Where
I'll tell you, Showcase, when I won that title, it was like, it was definitely a magnificent high point in my entire wrestling career so far. It was like I finally proved, not just to everyone else, but to myself, that I belong. And so here I am, like it or not.
And how far you have come since those days of nipping at the wrestler's heels.
Oh, jeez.
3 years ago. So it's great. Listen, we all wish you well. And hey, looking forward to seeing what you're going to do tonight.
Sounds great, man. All right, thank you.
Soldier of God, Ronnie Ribs. Thanks, man.